What's going on, family? What's going on? What's the word? What's the word? What's the word, family? Super excited to be here with every single one of you guys because we are live right now, back with another Asian session stream hosted by none other than your boy Abel Melendez, guys. And I'm super excited to be here with every single one of y'all, right? Because we're back, able to take a look at the markets and see what we could pretty much come up with. And throughout the whole process, hopefully you guys are also being educated as well so that you guys can continuously get better, guys, at this scale. But yeah, we are starting a little bit early today. You know, I didn't want to wait till 10 o'clock, right? I'm like, you know what, let's actually just get started now. All right, I didn't feel like waiting, guys, so we definitely did start a little bit earlier today. Literally the only reason is because I just didn't want to wait till 10, because I'm super excited to actually be here with y'all. Obviously yesterday I was not able to actually jump on, so I apologize for anybody that was on last night waiting for me. I just something came up, you know, had to obviously go ahead and focus on that one thing that actually ended up coming up, so I apologize for that. But we are live right now, we are back today, and I am super excited to be here with every single one of you guys as usual, right? So go ahead and continue to drop your locations in the chat, family, as you guys continue to come in. And yeah, we're gonna have another very phenomenal stream as well for today. Okay, so let's see what we got in the building. We got Colombo, Sri Lanka, right? We got Chicago. Christian, what's going on, dog? I appreciate you. Right, let's see what else we got. India in the building, Baltimore, Maryland. We got Florida. We got OKC, Vermont, South Texas, Burbank, California. What is up? What is up, Tony? I see you, Tony. All right, I know I'm excited for the football season, Tony. All right, them Ravens is looking good, man. But let's see, we got Cincinnati in the house. What is up? Atlanta, Nigeria. What is going on? Shout out to my guy Kyle in the building. I see you. H-Town, Julian. What's going on, my brother? Good to see you in the chats as well. All right, so let me actually go ahead and switch this real quick, because I'm actually sharing the wrong screen. There we go. That's what it should have been looking like. All right. So now we are here, right? We got Bert in the building. What's going on, Bert? Good to see you in the chat as well, right? Shout out to all my Baltimore squad. I appreciate y'all. They definitely are going to. They have to pay Lamar, all right? Like you cannot just not pay Lamar, right? So nothing to worry about right there. I do believe they are going to absolutely pay that, guys. But let's go ahead and get right into this. You know, don't want to waste too much time whatsoever. Right, so overall, what did we actually happen for today, guys? So we did actually have some releases that happened earlier today with PMI data for the pound, and then we also had the initial jobless claims and PMI data for the dollar as well. And I mean, for the most part, it pretty much came out not too far from projections on both of these releases. And that's pretty much just the two things that we actually had to deal with, guys, in terms of news, right? Now, tomorrow is really going to be the big one, right? Tomorrow, guys, is really going to be a news event that a lot of, you know, smart money is going to be paying attention to, right? Because, I mean, I've been saying this stuff a lot, right? Literally for the past few months that I've been doing these live streams. But, yeah, we're obviously dealing with a lot right now in this world, guys, in terms of inflation, in terms of all this stuff. Right? I feel very repetitive saying all this stuff, right? Because I literally say it every single stream. But I also realize that it's important for me to repeat this stuff so that you guys can really get it, right? And there's always newer people that are constantly tuning in as well, and I always have to make sure I account for them, right? So I apologize, guys, if I am very repetitive, repeating the same thing over and over and over again, but that is literally my job, right? Is to educate and make sure that everybody gets it. So I do apologize, though, for you guys that have been on and that continuously hear the same exact stuff, right? But overall, guys, again, you know, the jobs report that does come out tomorrow is going to be something that we have to pay attention to. Right now, the one thing that the Federal Reserve is pretty much just holding on to, guys, is the fact that we still have a very strong labor market, right? Our unemployment is still extremely, extremely low at around 3.5% over here in the U.S. And that's the one thing that, again, is pretty much still giving the Fed a little bit of hope. Right now, again, the Fed pretty much last week, Jerome Powell, guys, he pretty much actually gave in and pretty much just said that, yeah, inflation is crazy. We're going to continue raising rates until this thing is fully under control. Right. But he also did mention, again, the fact that we did have a strong labor market. So we still do have a strong labor market. But what I have been telling you guys for the past month or so now is that the labor market, guys, is also a lagging indicator. Right. There's a bunch of different things that have to happen first before the labor market actually starts to get impacted. Right. So we already went through a few of the little cycles that it takes for the labor market to actually take a hit. Right. Where interest rates going up is going to affect the bottom line, guys, for a lot of these businesses, where their profit margin is now going to be a lot tighter, a lot smaller, and they're going to have to cut costs in different places, right? Obviously, they're going to cut costs in employment. They're going to start letting people go, right? So depending on how these numbers do come out, it's going to tell the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell and his team, on what they should definitely do. Right, because if inflation starts to actually go higher, or not inflation, right, but if unemployment actually starts to come out, guys, and we start to see the unemployment rate start to increase, then you best believe Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve is really, really going to have some planning out to do, right? Some thinking on what the next best thing to do will be, right? Because again, if we do start seeing unemployment increasing, then I think we're going to be in for a very prolonged recession for sure, right? But overall, guys, that's pretty much going to be the big news that we do have coming out to close out the week, is going to be that NFP and the unemployment rate that does come out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll see how that actually ends up coming out. Now, what I want to do, guys, is tomorrow morning, it really does depend, right? I want to wake up with you guys. Well, not wake up, but I want to actually trade with you guys NFP. I want to get in the habit of actually trading a lot of these bigger news events, guys, with you guys live, just so we can see how the market is reacting. And then we can, if the opportunity presents itself, we can go ahead and react as well. But it is going to depend tomorrow on my kids because, again, school is back in session. Kids got to go to school around the same exact time as New York session, and usually around these releases are actually occurring. All right, so if wifey's holding it down, then yeah, I'll jump on with you guys, and we could definitely go ahead and watch the release together live, right? So we'll see what happens with that, though, guys. But that's definitely something to keep your eyes on going into tonight for tomorrow, because that is happening tomorrow morning. Big major news. A lot of traders and investors, guys, are absolutely going to be keeping their eyes on it, so that they are atop of the absolute game. All right, so let's see what else we got here. That's what teachers do. Repetition, 100% GD. All right, see, good to see you, King. A bit late on, but glad you are all good and safe. George, good to see you on the chat as well. George, I appreciate you for rocking with me and tuning in today. All right, see, bro, Abel, my wife called, but I'm glad you're doing okay, man. Let's get it. I'm back. Trucker, I appreciate you as well. It's crazy, guys, right? Again, yesterday, like I said, I ended up having to miss it just for personal reasons, right? We're not going to get into all that. But I actually received a lot of messages from a lot of you guys, right? With a lot of you guys that were more concerned of the fact that, not that I didn't show up, but more so I think that I didn't give you guys an update that I wasn't going to show up, right? And I appreciate the concerns. It definitely does mean a lot. It shows that you guys truly do care. And yeah, I appreciate every single one of you guys that did reach out to me, just to check up on me pretty much. Let's see. We need to tell wifey to step it up. I hear you, Travis. I hear you. Now we're going to figure something out, right? Again, there's just certain things, guys, that, again, I like to experience. And again, ever since I became a full-time trader, right, I've also became a stay-at-home dad, right? And the fact that I'm a stay-at-home dad, even though my wife is all day home too, right? She doesn't work neither. I still like doing these little things, right? Like bringing my kids to school, right? Going to the parent-teacher conferences, enjoying. It's just these little things, right, that I actually absolutely enjoy, because I know the memories later on down the road is going to be amazing, right? So yeah, there's certain things I love to do. But besides all that, right, let's go ahead and get into the markets, guys, and get straight into it. See what we got going on. See what the market has done over the past 48 hours. Because, again, I wasn't live with you guys last night. So let's check to see what the market has done in the last 48 hours. And then we can see if there's anything that we can take advantage of. Right, so the dollar, right? Let's go ahead and start off with the dollar, guys, right? So the dollar itself, it actually did decide to continue going higher. Right now, there was I had different biases literally on the dollar this entire week, right? So at the beginning of the week on Sunday, I still wanted the dollar to go higher, right? But then on Monday and Tuesday, when I really started to analyze the market and it was just still playing around, I ended up changing my bias and saying there's actually a decent chance for price to probably correct, right? But then again, we also had price action that came in. And then with that price action, we ended up changing our bias once again. Right now, that price action, considering, right, or having all these bias changes, is literally only from a technical perspective, right? My bias from a fundamental perspective has not changed, right? My bias from a sentimental perspective has not changed, right? So as long as my bias from a fundamental sentimental perspective doesn't change, I'll be fine, right? I know what the overall bigger picture is looking for. The only thing that normally changes for me now, guys, is normally just my short-term technical bias, right? Because it really depends on if we're going to be trying to take advantage of a correction in the market or if we're just setting ourselves up for the overall continuation of the move, right? We're either going to have, guys, an opportunity to catch a correction, all right, a retracement, or we can go ahead and set ourselves up ourselves to actually go ahead and take advantage of the actual continuation of a move. All right, so that's just pretty much what, how we approach it. But the one thing that really changed it for me, guys, and brought me back bullish, right, was the fact that we had this level of structure right here, this support, right? We had price run this support pretty aggressively, right? But look at price action. Again, being able to read this type of price action, guys, is crucial. Okay? Being able to read this type of price action is crucial. Because when we see what the market did here, it's actually telling us a story. All right? We clearly have this level of structure, this level of support right here. Price ended up wanting to test this support, and it did. But then it actually ended up running this support. Now, the story that's being said here is that after price actually broke this level of support, that the demand for the dollar down at those levels is actually pretty strong, right? So if we now have evidence, guys, that the demand is pretty strong, and we can see that by the rejection that we see with this big candle right here. This is a 4-hour candle. And not just the rejection, right? The rejection is one thing. But the second part to the rejection, guys, is the fact that we had a nice strong follow through. Okay, again, the rejection is one thing. It's the follow through with the rejection as well that's really telling the big story. Right? Because now this is literally telling us, guys, that we do have a lot of momentum, right? That the momentum is back bullish. That we do have a lot of demand for the dollar again. Right? Because if we didn't have crazy demand, then we wouldn't have broken these levels of structure right here all to the left if we didn't have that demand, right? But the fact that we did have that strong demand, guys, off of this level of support, right, that is exactly why the market, after this pullback, ended up continuing to go higher, ended up creating new highs. Now, again, I'm going to be honest, right? I am a little torn on what I think is going to happen tonight, right? Because obviously we just ended up creating a bullish daily candle that ended up clearing, a month of candlesticks, right? Like we literally just closed at a new high. So that shows a lot of momentum, right? A lot of bullish momentum for sure. But the one thing I'm really keeping my eyes on, guys, if we go out to the bigger picture, right? Now we're on the monthly perspective, right? And again, there are times I don't go to the monthly that often, right? But again, when we are pushing extreme levels, right? Because if we look at the dollar, guys, like look at this, right? We had literally a not a 2 year, but a 1.5 year run here, a 1.5 years of just straight dominance. There's eventually going to be a cooling off period. Now it doesn't have to happen right away, right? And I'm not saying that we're just immediately going to turn around. But what I am saying is anytime we do ever come back up to a level of structure, we do have to be cautious about that. Right? We do have to be cautious about that. Okay? Let's see. Is it cutting up for anyone else? It's cutting up. I think, yeah, that's my mic. My mic has been... Yeah, my mic has been acting up. I might have to go back to my old mic if it keeps on acting up, right? But again, back to what we're talking about, guys. So again, we are at a major level of structure right here for the dollar index. So it's really going to be a make or break level. Now, you guys know my bias, right? My bias is not going to change. My bias is still very much bullish USD. My bias is still very much expecting risk-off sentiment, risk-off environment to stay. It's just a matter of, again, what is really going to happen, right? So very interesting times right here, guys, for the dollar. Very interesting levels as well, because obviously, again, we are at a level of structure, right? We are at a level of structure. But what we're also noticing, or at least what I'm noticing as well, even though we are at this level of structure, right, we are starting to experience, guys, a decrease in buying momentum and buying power, right? Again, we did see a little spike up to close today. I get it, right? But look at what we really have been doing. Where is my tool? All right, all we've been doing is literally just sticking inside of this range right here, right? So yeah, we did end up creating new highs, but we're just stuck inside of this range, right? Like literally just trapped inside of this range, and the market really isn't doing too much, right? So is it possible? Okay, not just this, right? So again, we're creating these highs, right? But we're very choppy, very range bound. Right, every time we came up to the highs, now we are seeing reactions, rejections off of that. Now, I want to also compare that to the MACD, right? Or at least it's just like one of the indicators. I don't really use too many indicators, literally only the moving average, and I use MACD just to identify the momentum literally shifting and changing. Right, so if we look at the MACD, guys, as well, guys, right, and we see that, again, the market is starting to slow down. Price action is starting to slow down. At least right now, we're starting to see a slowdown in the dollar. Again, yeah, we are still seeing higher highs being created, but it's definitely much more choppier, right? Look at this move. Strong move, non-stop move, compared to now what we've been seeing, right? Very choppy. So again, clearly the momentum that we experienced here is not the same way up here, right? Everything else is looking a little choppy. But if we, again, compare this, guys, right, this move right here, and we look at the actual indicator, the MACD, we can see that momentum is clearly starting to shift, right? Look at all the way back here, this high, right? We had this push up right here that gave us the most volume, right, off of this entire move. Was right here, this entire move right here, okay? Then we seen another run, which also gave us a nice little push. But again, look at the decreasing volume here to the upside. All right. And then we seen another little one right there. Again, decreasing volume. Now, we did just get a little spike right here due to this little spike here. But overall, it's still decreasing volume across the entire board, right? Decreasing volume that we're now starting to notice here on the dollar. So these are the little clues, guys, that I like to look at, right, and that I like to utilize to help me predict, right, what we can expect from a technical short-term perspective. Right now, again, do not lose sight of the bigger picture. Do not lose sight, guys, of what the macro idea is. The macro is that we are still very much long-term bullish. That's the macro, right? As long as the Fed is going to raise interest rates, we are going to buy the dollar. We are going to sell indices. We are going to sell equities. We are going to sell commodities, right? We're going to take advantage of those positions as long as the Fed expects to raise rates. As long as the Fed is hawkish, we're buying the dollar all day long. The Fed has said numerous times now that they are going to raise rates all the way to the end of this year. So we know for a fact that rates are going to continue by the end of this year. They're expecting it to be around 3.75, maybe around 4%, maybe 4.5%, right? So we know this thing. We know the Fed is hawkish. We know this. We know that the dollar is going to gain strength. It's just a matter of now identifying the fact that, man, yeah, there is going to be time for this thing to actually give us a cooling off period. Okay? That's the only thing I want you guys to really just start being aware of. I'm not saying it's going to happen just now, but we are at a level where it is possible. And whenever we're at a level of structure, guys, where it is very possible, right, there is a high probability of a reversal from it, yeah, maybe we have to be a little bit more cautious, right? So that's pretty much how I literally been playing this thing this entire week, guys. I've been telling you guys literally since Tuesday when I came on with y'all that it's definitely been a very week, right? That it's been a little up and down, but the market's been extremely choppy and been going sideways, right? So, you know, we just gotta be aware of these things, guys. We gotta be aware of this type of price action, right? Overall, I mean, even if we're looking at it here from the daily, right, we can see that this thing is creating highs, but you know, the indicators are already going lower, right? The momentum's already shifting to the downside. So again, it's just one of those things. Now, depending on what this jobs report comes out tomorrow morning, right, it could send price flying again, right? Depending on how that comes out. All right, so very interesting data for sure, though. Right, my bias for the dollar, though, my bias, again, I'm still long-term bullish, so I'm just gonna stick with that for now, right? But my bias is that we see price come back down, maybe around these lower ends down here. You know, we see, I don't know, my gut feeling is telling me that we really could end up reversing from these levels, right? So I'm probably just gonna be on the sidelines, guys. Again, there's no point in forcing things if it's not there. No point in forcing things if there's confusion on the overall bias and what you think can happen, right? Because again, for me, I'm still very much bullish. Like, I really want to take advantage of something like this, right? Just a pull back down, you know, maybe back down to this level of demand, and then look to buy it off of there, right? That's really what I want to find. That's really what I want to see. That's probably what I will end up setting myself up to take. If I am going to take the euro for a buy, is probably going to, or not the euro, but the dollar, it would probably be down here, and I would take that. But I also would not be surprised if the market actually ends up saying, nope, boom, we're actually going to run that, and we're actually going to start a correction. Because we are at a level where that is actually very possible, right? So again, just being aware of these things, guys, is your job as a trader, right? Being aware of what's possible, the different scenarios, the different outlooks, and then you sticking with the one that makes the most sense and dealing with the consequences. All right, for me, for the dollar, yeah, it still does make sense for the dollar to go here to this demand zone and react and continue higher, especially based off of NFP report tomorrow. You know, if NFP is showing that we are, and again, it's very tough to read a lot of these reports right now because obviously market conditions are not normal, right? Normal market conditions are not what we're experiencing right now, right? High inflation is not considered normal market conditions, right? High interest rates is really not considered, or what is not normally good or considered good, right, in these market environments as well, right? So we're really not in normal environments. So it's a little bit harder to really interpret this news. So the way I'm going to be looking, guys, right, for me personally, what I think is going to happen based off the report tomorrow, if we end up actually coming out in non-farm payrolls, actually shows that we actually missed out on projections, right? Because they're expecting 300,000 new people that are actually employed from the previous month, which is obviously going to be a major drop off from what happened last month. Last month it came out at 528,000. This month they're expecting 300,000. So that's a big drop in the number of employed people in itself, right? If we come out lower than that, then normally, in normal market conditions, that's looked at as bad. But because we have inflation, and because we actually need people to actually not be working, which is kind of crazy, like we need people to not get jobs. We need people to be fired. And again, I'm thinking from the terms of the Federal Reserve, right? Obviously, you know, people losing their jobs is never a good thing, right? But if the Federal Reserve's main job is to fight inflation, then they need people to have access to less money. Right? Because when people have money, they're going to spend it, no matter what their situation is. Right? They could be either rich, they could be, or they could be dead broke. It doesn't matter. Right? When people have access to money, they're going to spend it. But when they don't have access to money, there's nothing that they can do. They can't spend it. Right? So the less spending that occurs is going to help fight inflation. So a lower jobs report might actually be beneficial, right? And might actually bring some confidence. Now, I'm not saying investors and traders, guys, are going to go ahead and just start pouring money, right, into those plays, but you know, it's definitely something to be mindful about for sure. Okay, but again, that's what I'm thinking about for the dollar, guys. Very interesting. Like I'm probably just going to stick with this just because I'm still very much bullish, and I want to stick with the buy scenario now, especially since we did have it. But I would not be surprised at all if we ended up actually giving us a correction, right? But for now, I'm definitely going to just stick with the buy scenario all day long, and yeah, we'll see what happens, right? We'll just react to whatever price ends up telling us, right? So with that being said, let's go take a look at the euro, right? Because you guys know I love the euro. You guys also should know that the euro does the exact opposite of the dollar, so it's easy to trade when you understand what the dollar is about to do, right? So looking at the euro itself, guys, again, overall, I still am very much bearish. We did actually see the market give us a pretty decent bearish engulfing, guys, overall to close out the last day. Again, a nice little sell-off. That is a sign of strength, right? That is a sign of strength, guys. Now, overall, Euro USD has just been very choppy, right? Literally has been stuck inside of this range. Very, very choppy for the most part, just going sideways. So, we have to wait for a pullback, right? We have to wait for a correction, all right? I want to see market pull back up now, back up into this level of supply, and then from there, possibly just continue, right? Big shout out to Anthony Nino. What's going on, my brother? I appreciate you for supporting the channel and sponsoring the channel. Welcome to the Wealthy Fam. Let's get it. Family, make some noise for Anthony Nino. Bro, make sure to go ahead and send me a message via Instagram, right, immediately after this stream so I can get you added into the private Telegram that we have. We do have a private Telegram for anybody that's a part of the inner circle, that's a part of the Wealthy Family. So I appreciate you, Anthony, and make sure to go ahead and send me a message on Instagram so we can get you added into that chat for sure. All right. So besides that, though, guys, what I think very easily, all right, I want to see continuations to the downside here for the euro. All right, that's literally what I want to see. All right, overall, we've been very choppy. We had a very aggressive sell-off. Ever since then, we had this support level that has just been holding pretty strong, right? But we also had, this resistance level as well, guys. That's also been, again, price has just been trapped inside of this range. Now, we did get a sign of strength, right? Is this sign of strength going to be enough? All right. It's, in my opinion, is good enough to take a chance on. So I'm literally going to be setting up a situation like this, guys, going into tonight for the euro. Right, looking at something like this, right, seeing if we can go ahead and just grab some entries right off of this area of supply that we have right up here, right? You guys know, for me, if I'm taking a trade, it's always going to be near an area of supply or demand. It's not going to be near it. It's going to be always inside of an area of supply and demand, right? So if I see price, guys, and I see an area of supply, right, where we clearly see that the demand for the euro has absolutely dropped crazy, which is why the euro dropped crazy. Then due to how fast price ended up moving, there could be some unfilled orders up there. So that's exactly where I want to go ahead and look for the next trade from, right? So selling, guys, around the 1.0017 level, not a bad idea, right? Not a bad idea going into London tonight, going into the New York session tomorrow. And that's just, the play is just pretty much sticking with the overall trend, right? We have clearly been bearish. This thing has been nonstop dropping. We did get a sign of strength that came in. So if we can get a little bit of a pullback, probably back up to that 1.001, I really do see this thing continuing, this bearish trend overall, guys, right? So I like that a lot. A very, very good setup. Probably one of my favorite setups. Now that we finally did get something, right? Because the euro has been extremely annoying, just like everything else, guys, over the past few weeks. But we did get a little bit of sign of a strength, So, let's see what happens here, right? I like the setup. I like the opportunity. I'm very comfortable risking 2%. So I'll risk 2%, and I'll just deal with the consequences when it actually comes. All right, let's see. Be aware, be prepared. What tool do you use to tell the end of a pullback? I use structure, right? Structure is the tool, right? I don't use no indicator, no tool on the left side over here. Only thing I use is actual price structure, right? I like to leverage structure to help me identify when we can actually start to expect a reversal, right? Or the end of a trend. But if you want me to really be honest, the number one tool that I use, right, to predict the end of a pullback, right, is going to be areas of supply and demand, right? I'm expecting, like, if we're using Euro USD for an example right here, right, we have a nice sell-off, okay? We are now about to enter the pullback period. I am going to assume, and this is the thing, we have to make assumptions. Shout out to Sarah Clopton. What's going on, Sarah? Shout out to you. Welcome to the Wealthy Fam. Let's go. All right. Massive shout out to you, sis. I appreciate you as well for rocking with me today. Make sure to send me that message via Instagram so I can get you added into the private Telegram community. All right. Big shout out to you, though, Sarah. So, again, the question, or not the question, but the answer that I have for that, right, is, again, look, we have this pullback right here. All right. When it comes to trading supply and demand, guys, right, there is a level of assumption that you have to have here, right? So, for me, this is an area of supply because we clearly see that, sellers came in. Right, the demand for the euro against the dollar was not there, so it caused price to drop. And it didn't just do like a regular little drop. Like, we had two very strong bearish 4-hour candles. That's a lot of momentum to the downside. With that momentum, there was probably some leftover orders or unfilled orders that need to get filled. So price will normally push its way back up. But because of the fact that there's probably unfilled orders, we can make the assumption that price is going to react off of that level. So that's what I use to help me identify when a pullback is going to end. I use areas of structure, areas of supply and demand. I use things like order blocks as well to really help me identify, right? So, a supply zone, order block right in the supply zone. That's absolutely juicy. Absolutely juicy. Now, what we can do, guys, right, if you really want to fine-tune the entry, right, because I get it. You guys are like, hey, boy, I get it, man. It looks good, man, but is there any way we can fine-tune an entry? Well, yeah. The same exact zone that we have here, supply level. When we start to go to a lower time frame, guys, we are looking for the same exact thing, right? So right now, on the 4-hour, I'm looking for price to pull back up into this order block that we have right here, right? This black, blue, black candle sequence right here, this 3 candlestick pattern, this order block that was just played, right? Black bearish candle followed by this blue bullish one that got completely destroyed and erased. All right, yeah, I want to look for that same exact pattern inside of the supply zone on the smaller time frame, right? Because now when we do that, we're going to be able to really start to fine tune our entry here, right? So now we're going to 1 hour, 30-minute, 15-minute time frame. Let's see. All right, so on the 15-minute time frame, guys, again, I'm looking for, right, an area that it makes sense for price to actually go ahead and really start to move from. Now, I'm really liking all the way back up to these highs, right? I really think that price has a good chance of retesting, guys, on the 1 hour, this last bullish candlestick that we have here. So guess what? That's where I would be probably putting my entry. Right here, up here at this last bullish candlestick, right? And the reason why I like that area is because where did the actual demand for the dollar come in, which caused the euro to drop? Up here, right? Up there. This is clearly where traders and investors and big boys and smart money started to sell the euro. How do we know? I mean, price dropped. Right? Like, this thing clearly dropped. Right? So the fact that we ended up seeing a pretty decent sell-off, we want to go back to the origin of that sell-off, guys, when we're looking for entries. Like, this is as simple as it gets, right? We want to wait for price to get back to the origin so then we can have the assumption that price is going to continue in the direction that's expected. So I really like this opportunity. I really do, guys. This is a really good looking setup here for the euro. So yeah, if we're able to see price pull back, then that would be absolutely amazing. Now, one of the biggest things that I've been pretty much dealing with, guys, as well over the past for a little bit now is, yeah, I come up with these ideas, and this is the only thing that sucks about I would say doing markups on Asian session, right? Because I could do the markup all day, and I could tell you guys all day that, man, I'm not selling until price gets up there, right, on the stream. But as price is going, and let's say hypothetically speaking, by the morning time, right, we see New York session opens up and price is still not up here, right? But yet we know New York session is about to open up, so New York session volatility is about to come. Is it possible for us to start to just play off of these levels of structure to the left? Well, yeah, it is. Right, 100%, especially if you're in, a volatile session like London or New York session. Then yeah, do not, if price doesn't make its way up there, do not just miss out on the trade if you know what you're doing, right? Because there are a bunch of times, guys, where I give you guys an idea, right, a setup, I give you guys an outlook, right, where I want you guys to enter at, or I would recommend to enter at a certain area, but price doesn't reach there, and because of my ability to read price action, I'm able to still take advantage of the trade, right? Just at a different entry point. Okay, so just keep that in mind as well. You know, yeah, I want to see price come up higher, but if it doesn't, and let's say we start to see price, you know, give us a lot of rejections around this level right here, where we do have previous levels of support, we do have the moving average, right? So we do have a little bit of confluence here, right? So if the market by New York session is just playing right here, and we are starting to see, you know, lower time frame, you know, bearish trend coming in, then that can be an opportunity to go ahead and get involved as well, right? So, you know, that's just something to really keep in mind, guys, when it comes to the euro and waiting for these pullbacks, right? Because again, Asian session, we're really not going to get that many trades to actually take live during Asian, right? And the setups that we're going to be looking at are probably not going to be ready to take advantage of, but, you know, so just be aware of that. Right, but that's the euro, guys. Right, it does look very, very good though. Let's see what we got here. Welcome to the fam. Yep, welcome to fam, everybody. I appreciate y'all. Let's see. Can gold go any lower? I'm looking forward to November and December. Right, I'm definitely looking forward to November and December as well. Right, so let's actually go straight to gold and take a look at this. Now, the question that you asked is, can gold go any further? Right, or can gold go any lower? Well, it actually can. Right, again, this is the thing, guys, right? Like, a lot of people want to try to use, you know, areas of structure. There's something I was actually thinking about earlier that I was having a conversation with, right? Where a lot of traders, what they typically do, right? They make decisions on whether a trend is going to end based off of just a level of support or resistance. Now, understand, guys, the levels of support and resistance are important because they help us identify areas of structure where clearly, you know, buyers and sellers are interested at these levels and all that good stuff, right? So again, I'm not downplaying it. Support and resistance levels are crucial. Structure levels are crucial. But when it comes to making a decision on if a level is going to hold or not long term, you should really start asking yourself that question from a fundamental perspective, right? Because the reason why I'm still going to assume, even though we are at a major level of support here, right, major level of structure, because of the current state of the markets, because of everything that we're dealing with, there's nothing telling me that we're not going to continue going, right? I still believe that we're going to continue selling off, guys, for gold just because of everything happening, right? So again, when I make decisions, guys, on whether I'm looking for a major reversal, I'm using data, fundamentals, and sentiment to give me that heads up, right? I don't just look at a support and resistance level or a structure level and be like, oh, man, this level is a crazy, crazy weekly, monthly level, man. Let's look for trades, right? Again, you can look for trades, guys, but the whole point is understanding that news is the biggest deciding factor on whether you should hold trades, whether you should expect it to continue, and all that good stuff, right? So with that being said, because I know that gold has absolutely been getting destroyed ever since we started raising interest rates, right? They are still planning on raising interest rates. So with that in mind, I'm going to continue to expect gold to drop. The moment that the Fed stops raising interest rates, then we should see gold absolutely rebound and start flying once again. Okay, does that make sense, family? Drop a 3 in the chat if that's making sense, right? Again, we look at the markets differently here, guys, right? We use sentiment and we use fundamentals heavily in our approach because that's really what's moving price. That's really what smart money is making decisions off of, what the data say, right? So we have to understand the data, and then from the data, we're able to decide on whether these currencies are going to continue or not. So I'm still very much bearish. Gold, even if we do pull back, because again, we are at a level of structure where we could find some short-term demand, I'm still going to be expecting this thing to absolutely get ran through. All right, absolutely get ran through. Let's see. Appreciate that, bro. Shout out to that boy Albert. What's going on, my brother? I appreciate you. Good to see you in the chat. Let's see. You marking up Euro USD? Yeah, we actually did mark it up already, Elizabeth. But I don't mind going back to it for you, just so that you can see it. Give me 1 second though. I see gold has touched that point 6 times. Yeah, it has. Right. I mean, it's touched it numerous times. Right. But what does this tell us? Right? Does the more touches to a level make it stronger? What do you guys think? Yes or no? Right? Since this level, guys, has been touched once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, right? What do you guys think your answer is? Right? Does the more touches to a level, does it make it stronger? Yes or no? Answer that in the chat, guys, right? And I'm not going to continue until we get answers, because this is a very important topic that we have to talk about. Right? So go ahead and answer that in the chat. Drop your answer, yes or no, right? Does the more touches to a level, the more touches to a support and resistance, does it make it stronger? Yes or no? Let's see. No, weaker. No. Maybe weaker, depending on duration. Yes, until the level becomes invincible. No, yes, no. C, more visible. Yes, there we go. I can see a lot of y'all that been rocking with me for a minute. All right, because normally most people are going to be like, yeah, man, Abel, the more touches to a level, the more rejections, the stronger that level is, right? That is a huge misconception, guys, that a lot of traders have when it comes to trading support and resistance, right? The more touches to a level, the stronger it becomes. Well, if that was true, right, then on every single touch that we've seen here, then this level should technically be stronger every single time, right? But if that were true, then we should never see this level ever break, like ever, right? Because now it's got to be 6 times stronger than the first touch, right? So guys, don't fall for that, right? The more touches to a level does not make a level stronger. It just makes it more visible. Okay? It makes it more visible. Now, since it's more visible, does that mean it's more weaker? Not necessarily more weaker, but it could now be an area that is more easily manipulated. All right? Because these markets are manipulated, guys, by the big banks, the big institutions, the smart money, right? They move price to benefit them, right? So it is manipulated, right? So yeah, the more touches makes it more visible. I'm not going to say that it's going to make it more weaker, but I will say that it will make it a much more easier target for manipulation, right? Where liquidity is built up around. And that's why I think this level right here, guys, is now an area that is an easy area to manipulate. Because you got to think about it, right? Most retail traders, most newer traders, they're taught support and resistance, and they're like, man, this level is super strong. Let me go ahead and buy this level. Right now, while everybody is buying, and everybody over here that was buying, right, guess what they're going to be leaving behind? They're going to be leaving behind a ton of stop losses, right, a ton of liquidity, right? Because every single thing, guys, that we do, right, whether it's entering a trade, whether it's placing pending orders, right, whether it's our stop loss placement, all that stuff is liquidity, right? That's added liquidity into the markets at certain price points. Okay, so if everybody now starts to buy gold off of this support because it's a support, all you're doing is now making this level below it more liquid, right? You're literally just adding to the pool of liquidity that is now possibly being positioned below this level of structure, because everybody that's a rookie, all the retail traders are literally trying to buy off of this level. And the market is liquidity driven, guys, right? In order for the market itself to really be able to move, if a big institution, guys, if smart money wants to go ahead and place a trade, right? For example, let's use an example. With this example we have here. If smart money wanted to buy gold, okay? If smart money wanted to buy gold, let's say off of this level, right? 1690. If smart money, right? Big institutions, big boys, hedge funds, whatever. Right, if they wanted to buy gold from down here, guys, but yet since we're already at a level of support and everybody else is also considering buying gold, then those big banks and those big institutions, guys, when they start to place these orders, majority of those orders are probably not going to get filled because we have too many people leaning towards one side, right? And trading is a two process thing, guys, right? It's buying and selling. So if I wanted to buy gold right now, that means somebody has to take the sell side of the order, right? And that's the same thing for these big institutions, right? If the big institutions wanted to buy gold, then there has to be enough lot sizes or enough liquidity on the opposite side of the trade as well in order for them to actually get the entirety of their trade filled, right? I hope this makes sense, right? So let's break this down a little bit more, right? Because this is important. So again, for example, break this down. Let's say, Bank of America, right? Just using a well-known bank over here, right? Let's say Bank of America just wants to buy 1,000 lots of gold, right? If Bank of America, guys, wants to buy 1,000 lot sizes of gold down here at this 1690, but right, there isn't 1,000 lot size available on the sale side. Let's say there's only 800 lots available on the sell side, right? So they want to purchase 1,000, right? There's only 800 available, right? So clearly a big portion, or let's actually lower this, right? Let's actually do half of it available, right? Because everybody is trying to buy, right? So they want to place 1,000. There's only 500 lots available right now available. So if they wanted to actually enter a buy on gold and get completely filled with their order, they're only going to be able to throw 500 lots instead of the 1,000 that they want, because there's not enough liquidity in this area for them to actually go ahead and get that trade filled, right? So what they do in that situation, guys, when they realize that they want to do something, but there's not enough orders available to get their entirety of their trade, or at least majority of their trade filled, that's why they manipulate price. And they will push it towards an area that is liquid, because now they're collecting all these stop losses. They're getting a bunch of people out of positions. Anybody that had a sell stop, they're entering those people that had sell stops. So they're triggering a bunch of added liquidity into the markets by simply running this support. Now, guess what that does? Now that turns that area, or now it actually allows them guys to actually enter their trade. Because now them pushing price lower, it went from just 500 lots available for the sell side up here to down here now 1,500 lots available, right? So clearly if they wanted to throw 1,000 lots at this yellow circle, now there's enough liquidity for their orders to absolutely get filled, right? So again, it's just about thinking outside the box, guys, when we're really approaching these markets, and understanding that, yeah, the more touches to a level isn't necessarily going to make it stronger. It's going to make it more visible, which in return can be make it more manipulated, right? So that's why I would not be surprised if we do see price actually run this support, right? Because I think there's just so much liquidity down here now, right? That if a Bank of America wanted to buy gold, they're not going to want to do it here, right? Where they're probably not going to get filled. They're going to want to do it down here where they know they'll be able to get most of their orders filled. Okay? Is this making sense, family? I need to know. Is this making some sense? Drop some threes in the chat, right? Drop some threes in the chat and smash that like button too if this is making some sense, right? Because when you really understand this, guys, especially when you understand that stuff from an institutional perspective, again, it's going to put you in a much better position for sure. All right, perfect, right? That's what I like to see. Look at all the threes. Let's get it. Yeah, so very, very important, guys, to understand for sure. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so let's go ahead and see. This is my buy bias on gold overall. Again, this is just a bigger picture outlook. Keep in mind we are on a daily time frame. We did just see literally 4 or 5 straight daily bearish daily candle days. So what do I think can happen now for the short term though for gold? Again, long term, I'm still very much expecting this thing to run lower. Short term, we could, just because we already seen a pretty extended drop, I would need to see this market pull back before I want to continue selling, right, for gold. So yeah, if we can pull back, man, I would be very comfortable with looking for more sells. But what we're currently at right now, I don't feel comfortable selling from there. I'll need some type of a pullback, right? Probably right back up to, I would say, this 1730 level. Which again is a little bit of a ways to go, right? But that 1730 level, guys, just looks super attractive for this thing to go ahead and continue in this bearish trend that we've pretty much been in, guys, for gold. So overall, I'm still very much bearish. It's just we gotta wait for a pullback before we continue going in. All right, so just to show you guys what EURUSD was again, because I know some of you guys actually came on late, didn't actually catch this. But this is what I'm looking at for EURUSD, guys. Overall, I'm very, very bearish here. Price can realistically sell off from the 0.998 level, and if it does, it is what it is. But I want to see price come all the way up to this 1.0026 level, right? So that's literally where I'm going to have my pending order, a sell limit right up there. I'm literally going to place it before I go to bed tonight, just in case for whatever reason price runs up there. And then we'll see how it is. Again, keep in mind, we do have NFP tomorrow, right? So please keep that in mind. The fact that we do have NFP is probably a reason why I don't know if I will actually set a pending order tonight, just because I don't know, right? I don't know. All right, I might set the pending. I mean, I'm gonna be awake anyways, well before, but yeah, you know, even if NFP comes out, guys, right? If on NFP, man, we see a nice spike up, I'm selling that, right? If NFP comes out and we spike up, I'm just looking for the actual sell. All right, so that's how I'm gonna be playing it. Let's see. I read the education you are teaching in Trader Zone, so you are on point. I appreciate you, brother Joseph. All right, so that's just my Euro USD, guys, for those of you guys that were asking and weren't able to actually get it. All right, let's go take a look at GJ. Right, I know GJ is definitely one of my favorite pairs, and I know it's a fan favorite, but GJ has been super annoying, guys. Now, again, we literally just been extremely choppy. I mean, look at this range that we've been in since pretty much the end of July, right? Literally the end of July, beginning of August. So for the past complete month, 30 days, we've been literally trapped inside of this range here, guys, for GJ, right? Like, look at this. This is a daily time frame, by the way, right? So there's a lot of daily candles. Now, overall, my bias has still not changed. I'm still very much bullish, right? I still do want to see this thing absolutely fly. I don't know why. It's just my bias. I think the pound is just a lot more attractive right now compared to the Japanese yen. So yeah, I'm still very much bullish. You know, we actually did get a very, very nice reaction out of these lows. This is the only thing, that the only trade that I'm actually in currently right now, guys, is this GJ, right? Because I actually ended up catching an entry near the bottom, right, near the lows. Let me actually see what my it's not too much near the lows, but I actually got an entry around 161,200. Right around 161,200 for the buy. So I'm in around 161,200. So I'm in around down here right now, right? You know, just again looking for that buy, right? I've been telling you guys I'm very bullish pound yen. So anytime price comes back down to these lows, guess what I'm doing, right? I'm looking for more entries, right? Price comes back down, I'm going to be looking for more entries, right? The entries that I'm currently in right now, all right, I got 2 positions open. Those are break even, right? I can't lose on those trades. So if price does come back down and stops me out at break even, it is what it is. I'll shake it off. It's not that big of a deal. But you best believe I'm going to be looking for the next opportunity to go long. All right. So again, I'm still very much bullish here, guys. Pound yen is just again, it's just being patient and just letting the market do what it does. Now, again, we did get a very nice reaction though, right? Nice reaction that did end up breaking structure to the left. We didn't break this level of structure all the way over here, but I would like to see something like this now. Right, I would like to see something like this now, guys. They push down before we actually go ahead and continue. Right now, again, I wish I could show you guys this stuff. You can't really see it, right? But you can see the color, right? You can see the blue, right? Blue screens is literally GJ, right? Literally just 2 positions on GJ. I'm currently up a little decent amount, nothing too crazy, right around like maybe $1,400 right now. But yeah, you know, blue screens always a good thing, right? So again, that's literally the only thing I pretty much was playing today. I did have a Euro USD position way earlier in the day that I ended up getting out of. But yeah, that's just been pretty much the week that we've been in, just been chilling, trying to get this entry on GJ pretty much for the most part. But I'm still very much bullish, guys, very much bullish on GJ. What I would do now, if I'm looking for an opportunity on GJ, or like if I'm one of you guys looking for the next play, what you can potentially look for is obviously a break below this range right here. Can definitely go ahead and set yourself up for a nice move higher. I would probably be looking to enter around this 161.45 level, right? That's where I would be looking for, 161.4, 161.5, around that level right there, guys. So if we're able to see this break down, then yeah, I think this is going to be short-lived and we're going to continue. Another thing that you could do as well, right, because I do think pound is just going to start to really gain a lot of strength soon, right? So there is a chance as well, guys, where we do just break out this range, retest, and then we actually continue like that as well, right? So I'm going to be playing either or. Again, I'm already in it, so I'm just literally going to be adding positions now. based on what the market does. So if we get a pullback, I'm just going to continue to stack more positions and just continue to ride it out, just because, again, I am so bullish this. Like, I really think and I really want to see price, guys, like, just to show you guys, I want to see price come all the way back, at the very least back up to this high, but I really want to see it back all the way up to the ultimate high. That would be pretty lit. Now that's a long ways to go. Obviously that's around 600 pips. All right, so I'm obviously that's a far stretch from right now, but it's just giving you guys my perspective, right? I just think that this thing is just super attractive. It's at super discounted levels right now, and I would like to see this thing actually go ahead and continue. And if I'm wrong, it is what it is, right? I don't care. I'm not gonna cry or complain about it. You can't cry or complain about it, right? If you lose, you're a trader. It is what it is. It happens. Right, so that's my GJ though. Move back down could definitely go ahead and trigger a continuation. That would be my favorite setup for sure. All right, let's go take a look at, let's see, bro, this looks like a 5-minute range. Yep, BTC, been at it all day. Let's go take a look at BTC actually, right? So what we got here, guys. So overall, Bitcoin has just been obviously continuously dropping right now. Especially starting last week, we started to see a lot of bearishness come in. Now, again, Bitcoin in crypto market as a whole, guys, is responding certain ways to the data as well, right? Like cryptocurrencies has been very interesting because it's been moving very similarly to the stock market, right? To the indice market, right? So based off data that gets released, whether it has to do with inflation, jobs reports, things like that, cryptocurrencies have been reacting and responding in similar ways as the stock market, right? So it's been looked at as more of a risk on type of asset. And I think that's going to continue, all right? I think that we can continue to see, more selling off for Bitcoin. We obviously have this level of structure right here that we're looking at right now currently, right? But I think that we are eventually going to continue seeing more selling off. Now, a few things that we do have to just keep our eyes on, guys, for Bitcoin is all this fast price action that's being left behind. All right, all this fast price action right here is super strong. Like, we're on the daily time frame, by the way, right? Big daily candle, right? Super strong push down, super strong push down, right? Super strong push down, right? That's, for one, just showing the momentum, right? The selling pressure that we have. But what it's doing, it's also, again, leaving behind, guys, a ton of imbalance, right? That I think that we're probably going to want to actually run before we really see major continuations lower. So I wouldn't be surprised if we come to this level of support right here, this level of structure. We actually bounce off it just to go ahead and start to fill a lot of these gaps or these imbalances or these fair value, whatever you want to call it, right? Before we actually do continue going lower, right? So that's what I would love to see. That would be pretty dope, right? That would be interesting to see, guys, for these cryptocurrencies, or at least for Bitcoin. Right, so we'll see what happens with that. But that's my bias on this one. I'm still very much bearish on it. So I just want to continue to look to sell this one all day long. All day long for Bitcoin, guys. I'm still very much bearish. All right, so yeah, looking for continuations lower on that one. Let's see what we have here, guys. So I'm actually very interested, guys, right? And I'm actually considering, like, really going all in with these indices, right? These indices overall, guys, right? I'm I think I really want to become an indice trader. So I'm actually going to start focusing heavily on trading, NAS, SPX, US 30, and really start to get a lot into these indice markets, just because they are extreme. Like, you can make such a bag, man. And I just haven't gotten too deep into them, just because I've been making so much good money with trading regular currencies, and adding something massively volatile like indices just wasn't really on the radar for me, right? But now it's time to, right? It's time to really just lock in and take this thing really seriously and absolutely go crazy, right? So I'm definitely on it. So what can we look at now, though? Right? I see you, Latree. Shout out to you. Right? So what can we look for now, guys? Well, I believe that we're still very much bearish. All right, again, as long as interest rates are going up, we need to assume that these indices guys are going to continue to sell off. Right? Nobody's going to be investing into the stock market, into these indices, right, while the Federal Reserve is raising rates. It's just not going to happen. Right? So I'm expecting, guys, still continuation lower for these indices, right? In fact, this is just something that I actually drew out earlier, all right? Because I was looking at this earlier, and I'm like, man, this actually doesn't look too bad to start to settle off from this area that we're at now, right? So I think that we do have some potential, guys, for price to really go lower, right, for these indices. The level that we're at now, again, is a very interesting level, right? Very, very interesting level, the level that we're currently at, right? It is an area of supply, right, where the selling pressure did actually start to pick up. All right, we did see selling pressure pick up, so coming back up into this area of supply could give us a follow through, right? But overall, you know, I'm definitely looking for continuations for the indice market, guys, overall from a macro perspective. Now, again, keep in mind, if you are going to be trading this, obviously the jobs report, you know, NFP, the unemployment rate does come out tomorrow, and that absolutely, guys, will influence the indice market depending on how it actually comes out. But either way, no matter what, I'm still very much bearish this, right? So for whatever reason, right, if the market actually reacts bullish off of the data for whatever reason, guess what I'm going to be doing, right? It is what it is. If I can find an entry, then yeah, I'll try to ride that momentum, right? But I'm still going to be setting myself up for the next bigger sell-off. All right, so again, that's literally how I'm going to approach it, right? If the market, for whatever reason, just continues to run, right, based off the news tomorrow, I'm just only going to be setting myself up to get an even better sell opportunity, okay? I don't care about short-term strength, short-term momentum, short-term strength that these currencies could possibly get, because I know that the dollar is still the biggest, or not the biggest, but still the number one asset or currency in demand right now, and it's going to continue to stay that way, right? So anytime we do see a spike up, I'm going to expect that thing to absolutely get destroyed right after, right? So that's similar. That's exactly, guys, why I'm looking for, or why I was looking for this short here, right? Yeah, we had a very aggressive spike up, but I think that that's going to be short-lived, right? We came right up into a level of structure, right up into an area of supply, right? We're pretty much right next to the moving average. We're now breaking below the moving average. Yeah, again, I wouldn't be surprised if we are seeing lower pricing here, guys, for the indices by the morning time, by New York session. And right where we're from, right where we're at, is actually not a bad area to keep your eyes on either. All right, so yeah, that's the indices, right? That is at least NAS, right? And they're all going to look very similar, guys. SPX, US 30, they're all going to be looking very, very similar for sure, right? So here we have SPX 500, again, very similar. I think we're just going to roll over. And then we also have US 30 as well, very similar. I think we probably going to end up just rolling over as well to the downside. Right, so very much bearish, guys, these indices for sure. Let's see, most of my trades are indices. Yeah, that's probably gonna be me soon, right? Me too, Benny. Right, because I've been demolishing currencies for a while now, but I think it's time for me to take that next step, right? Because I want to experience 100K days, right? Even though it's possible to do it with regular currency pairs, I just want to take advantage of indices, right? And the big reason, guys, why I'm now leaning towards more indice-based trading is because I'm very knowledgeable in fundamentals, right? Indices literally reacts more so to the data, or will react first off of the data than anything else, right? That is really data-driven, right? Indices are absolutely data-driven, right? So since I'm already extremely knowledgeable in the data and understanding news, understanding sentiment, I'm going to absolutely demolish these indice markets then. All right, so that's my approach, guys. So yeah, we're going to absolutely start trading NAS, SPX, US 30, and we're going to absolutely start destroying those assets for sure. Like, for sure. All right, let's see. Can we look at oil? For sure. Yeah, I got you. Let's go take a look at oil. All right, so what we have here for oil. So oil is still dropping, right, for right now. And actually, we had a conversation about this earlier, too, on the the Chart Addicts live stream, right? Because shout out to the Chart Addicts as well. If you guys are not following the Chart Addicts on YouTube, I highly recommend you guys to go take a look at them. My guy Royal, who actually runs that, you know, he actually has access to a lot of the dope traders, guys, in his space, and he actually brings them all together to go ahead and just drop gems. So he's literally doing a 24-hour live stream right now as we speak. He is still live. And on the live stream, guys, we were actually talking about oil, and I said that I think that we actually have a good chance for oil to rebound. Right, and I still believe that, right? I still think we are going to see, guys, higher pricing for oil, right? I really do think it now, right? So again, we are at a level of structure now, very interesting level of structure where price can start to give us some reactions from. You know, we did actually see a pretty healthy sell-off, but that healthy sell-off came right back into a level of structure. Now, is it possible for us to rebound? I mean, that's what I would like, right? That's what I would love to see, right? So yeah, you know, I still think that there is a very good chance, guys, for oil to really start to pick up, right? And the reason for it, I just think that demand for oil, like the actual asset, right, the actual commodity, right, I think that the demand for oil is going to be absolutely through the roof in the next coming months, right? In the next 6 months or 12 months, I think the demand for oil is really about to start, you know, going much higher, right? Now, obviously, we've been seeing oil drop, and that has to do with, obviously, in my opinion, public pressure, peer pressure from the president, right? Joe Biden. Joe Biden was absolutely peer pressuring the hell out of a lot of these gas station owners to absolutely get, you know, gas lower. But, you know, the price of gas was not going to go lower until oil actually started to become, you know, cheaper as well, right? So it is now cheaper, but I think it's going to absolutely rebound, guys. So if we do see oil start to rebound again, right, keep in mind your gas prices are going to start to go up as well, right? So if we do see oil increase, you will see energy across the board increase as well, right? So obviously we don't want to see that happen, but I just think that there's a great chance that it actually does happen. Okay, let's see. That's crazy. I already had that markup on my chart. Let's go, GD. Let's get it. Fire, can you break down AU? Yeah, for sure. Let's go check that out. All right, let's see what we got here. So AU, yeah, this thing has just been on fire, guys, right? AU has literally just been doing exactly what we've been expecting it, which is selling off. And it actually continued to sell off today, which is absolutely amazing, right? So yeah, guys, I'm still very much bearish, you know, AUD USD as well. You know, we did just see again a pretty strong sell-off, pretty decent sell-off. Now it's just a matter of waiting for price to pull back up so we can continue to sell it off. Right, let's get it, Coretta. Let's get it. Coretta, welcome to the Wealthy Fam. I appreciate you so much for supporting and sponsoring the channel. It definitely means a lot to me. Hopefully that means that you're getting some value so far. But please make sure to send me a message on Instagram. My Instagram is right below my face right here, so that you can go ahead and get added into the chat in the private community, right? So I definitely appreciate you for sponsoring the channel, though. Right, George with the 5 Australian dollars. Let's go, George. You are a savage. You are a beast, right? What is going on, George? Every single day you're showing massive love, and I appreciate you for that tremendously. All right, but overall, guys, right? Back to Euro. I mean, not the Euro, but AUD USD. We're still very much bearish here. I mean, this thing has just been like on a downtrend, guys, for a little while, right? So let's continue with that, right? Nothing has changed. And as long as the sentiment does not change, then neither does our bias, right? We don't change our overall bias, guys, until the data is showing it, right? So our overall bias has not changed because the sentiment has not changed. The data has not changed, right? So we are still very much bearish long-term AUD USD because of current state of the markets, right? There's no way the Australian dollar is going to be stronger than the US dollar right now. It's just not going to happen. So I'm still very much bearish, right? I'm still going ahead and continue to sell this thing and continue to expecting lower pricing here for AUD USD, right? So going into tonight, guys, what I would be looking for, price to come up into this level right here around those 0.68 and then look to short this opportunity all day long. All right, all day long. That's what I'll be doing. Right, I'm actually gonna keep this one on my radar. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this one on my radar. Right, very simple play here, guys. Again, we see what's happening. The market just continues to go bearish. Let's just continue it. All right, let's stay with it. All right, let's stay with it. I'm selling AUD USD all the way until the end of this year. Right, even if we do experience some pullbacks for whatever reason, some deeper pullbacks, that's fine. I'm still gonna be waiting for the next continuation lower. Right, I'm still very much bearish. I want to continue selling the Aussie. Right, because of everything that's happening, because of high inflation, because of interest rates, the Aussie is just not an asset that's going to benefit from that, right? So I think it's going to be still continuously be weak against the dollar, which is going to continue to send this thing lower, guys. So yeah, that's what I'll be looking for the Aussie, guys, right? You know, a sell from these levels, 0.681. I like it, right? I like the continuation of it. All right, so that one looks juicy as well, right? So, you know, again, you never know. We are in the Sydney session, right? So there is a chance for price to run up before we sell off. I mean, again, look what happened last time, right? Look what happened last time. If we go back if we go back to just what, yesterday, right? Yesterday, we had to sell off all throughout New York session, right? It's around. This is around 11, 10. Yeah, it's like around the same exact time that we're at right now. So what happened? Asian session, Sydney session, all right? The Australian dollar gained strength, and then during London session, it sold off. So guess what? Throughout the remainder of Sydney session, we'll probably gain strength, and then probably during London session, what should we expect? What will we probably do, guys? Go ahead and answer this in the chat. All right, actually, let me go ahead and bring something up, right, so you guys can really see it. I didn't want to remove indicators. All right, let me actually go ahead and bring up session breaks real quick, right? Let's look at session breaks real quick. All right, so now on the screen, guys, you can see just all these little vertical dotted lines, right? So these vertical dotted lines, guys, pretty much is breaking up each trading day, right, in a 24-hour period, starting from 5 p.m. Eastern all the way to 5 p.m. Eastern the next day. Right, so the whole reason I'm bringing up these breakers, or yeah, these little period separators, is so that we can start to see, guys, and this is something that you guys can do when you're back testing, right? Add these little breakers just so that you can have your 24-hour period, your day, your entire day, and start to identify when price actually starts to gain momentum for these different currencies, right? So if we're looking at, say, AUD/USD for an example, right, we can go back in time, guys, and we can see when was the biggest moves, like when did they actually start, right? So if we're looking here, this big move, what happened, right? During Asian session, we actually spiked up higher. Asian session, we came above, we broke above these highs, but during New York session, we ended up completely devouring that and going lower. Now that was expected because we are in an overall bearish trend, right? So that would have been all day. Realistically, an entry for this type of move, once we break below this whole candle right here, right? Once we break below this level, guys, that's all day long we're looking for sells, right? All day long we're looking for continuations, right? But again, at New York session, right? Sydney session we bought up. New York session is sold off, right? Let's look at the next day. Okay, we found our low. Asian session right here. This is all Asian and Sydney session, which is what we're currently in. Sydney session, we started to buy up. Actually, we started to buy up during London session here. Right, this entire day we pretty much just ran up, really didn't do too much. But here we ended up flying up again, and then we ended up selling off right around London session, right? So just it looks like this actually likes to gain strength, right, during Sydney session, and then it likes to sell off during London or New York session. Is pretty much what it's showing right now. All right, so take advantage of that. Right now we're in Sydney session, so we should see the market continue to make its way higher, but then during London or New York we should expect a continuation, right? And you can do this with everything, guys, especially these indices, right? So let's take a look at the indices especially, right? Because obviously, like I said, the indice is going to move most when the stock market is open, right? When the New York Stock Exchange is actually open. So that's 9:30 a.m. So anywhere between 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern, you can really expect a lot of volatility, a lot of volume. So let's actually look at this, right? And let's just keep our period separators up, right? So we can see every single day. And I mean, we can go back, Lily. We can go back as far as you really want, right? Like, this is just common sense, right? That this asset is going to move at that specific time, right? But what you can do is literally start to back test this, right, and see exactly what's happening. Okay, so when did this big move start? 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Why? Because that's the start of the day, right? We had the next day, really didn't do nothing, right? We consolidated, we came into the next day, and then again, big move, 10 o'clock, right? Same exact thing. We pull all the way back, right? We wait till 9, 10 o'clock. Next big move. It happens again, right? And then what happened? We pulled back 9, 10 o'clock. We seen the next big drop, right? It just so happened that this time we ended up actually just rebounding before the end of the day. But what can we expect next? We can possibly expect the market, guys. Come on, give me my tool, right? Chill around this level, and then during New York session, sell off again. That's literally been the trend. 9, 10 o'clock, we're selling off the NAS 100 and most of these indices, and it makes sense, right? So figure out what your macro perspective is and then align yourself with that, guys, right? And every time that we see the market pull back, whether it's super aggressive or not, as long as the sentiment has not changed, that is still more than enough opportunity for us to go ahead and get involved. So yeah, again, I'm still very much, take advantage of all this. But this is a big reason, guys, why I told you guys I'm getting into indices now, is because this is so freaking predictable. Like, it is so freaking predictable, right? We know that this market is going to either go bullish or bearish at 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Eastern, right? All we got to do is just see what the market has already done before the release and then line it up with our sentiment. I'm very much bearish, right? So I want to continue to sell it off, right? So sometimes it's good, guys, to put this little session breaks up there, 24-hour periods, just so that you can see how the market moves, right? And at what time the market moves for specific pairs and for specific assets, because that's very important, guys, right? You understand that these currency pairs are very similar to like how all of us humans, how we all have our own different personalities, right? We all have different personalities, every single one of us on this call, right? Not one of us has the same exact personality, right? So we do things different, we operate different, we talk different, right? Same thing with these currency pairs. Each one of these pairs, guys, all have a different personality, right? So they're going to move a certain way, move a little different, move at certain times, right? So it is very important for you as a trader to be familiar with, to familiarize yourself, guys, on when these currency pairs are going to be the most volatile, so you can absolutely take advantage of it. Okay. So that's pretty much where we're at for that. All right, let's see. Can you do NZD? Yeah, let's go take a look at New Zealand dollar real quick, right? So NZD USD, guys, overall, same, pretty much going to be a similar concept to what I just said with AUD USD. I'm still expecting more sell side. Again, this is a pair, guys, that is going to be volatile during the session because, again, Sydney session, New Zealand is going to benefit during the Sydney session. This is when their banks are actually open. So it is going to be more volatile around this period in time. So just keep that in mind. But overall, I do want to see more selling off. All right, I do want to see more selling off. Right, so if we can see price maybe come back up, give us another test back up to these highs up here, right, back up to this structure around 0.609, then I like the opportunity to go ahead and go short from up here, guys, all day long. All right, so I'm just still very much bearish, guys. NZD USD, I'll just look to continue to sell it all day. All right, all day long. Right, so that's pretty much where we're at for that one, guys. All right, let's see what we got. Let me go ahead and catch up with the chat. Let's see. I'm still holding a position at 0.682. Nice, baby girl. Let's get it. Right, Trucker, 499. I appreciate you, Trucker. Jeez. Let's go, man. Big shout out to you, my brother. I appreciate you so much for showing love with the 499. If you have anything, any pairs that you want analyzed, right, anything you need from me, let me know, and I got you for sure, man. Because anytime you support me, I'm going to support you and try to go above and beyond with giving you exactly what you're looking for, right? So I appreciate you. Definitely means a lot, man. Let's see. Can I please get added to the Telegram, right? So the one that you can get added to, Doug, is the free one that is being dropped in the chat every so often, right? Every 15 minutes, guys, a new link for my public Telegram channel is actually dropped. I just dropped it again, right? So go ahead and join that one, right, where I pretty much just give updates to everybody. If you want to actually have access to the Inner Circle one, then you're gonna actually have to get a membership through right here on YouTube. All right, the cheapest membership is only $4.99, right? So it's not expensive at all, all right? But that can give you access to the Inner Circle. Now, if you want access to, I'm not gonna say a more exclusive one because it's really not, but another chat that is next level is the Bootcamp chat. All right, so anybody that was a part of my bootcamp, that has taken any of my boot camps, right? If you guys are still not in the actual private bootcamp chat family, please message me on Instagram right away so that you can get added into that one, right? Because that one, we're going to be doing, guys, a little bit more in-depth trainings for anybody that actually did grab my bootcamp and participated in it, right? I'm going to be doing some private Zoom calls for you guys, maybe once or twice a week moving forward, right? I'm not sure when we're going to launch it, but most likely probably next week. But yeah, I want to make sure that I am going above and beyond for anybody that does invest into the actual bootcamp itself and the bootcamp videos. So if you were a part of the bootcamp, there's still quite a lot of you guys that were part of the bootcamp that are not in there, right? So make sure to send me a message so that we can get you added into that bootcamp. Absolutely, right? Because again, we are going to start doing some private sessions for everybody that's in that specific channel or in that specific group. Let's see what we got here. I'm too busy trucking and trading, but it's your boy Rico. Yes, sir. I know that's not because it's like what happened when I got the market. Yeah, great breakdown. I think there's an indicator for session high. Yeah, there is an indicator, BTC Mama, for sure. There really is. I don't use it. I see. Thanks, man. I'm trying. You know how to go and rinse. Do any means necessary. I have to get these markets. I see. 100%. I like that. I like that. Let's see if we buy your bootcamp videos. Can we be added to the bootcamp? Of course. 100%. Right. 100% you can. So again, for those of you guys that are not aware, guys, I've literally gotten a lot of questions, guys, regarding the 5-day bootcamp that I host, right? So I actually literally now have it available for everybody, right? So now we don't have to actually wait if you don't want to, right? I'm still planning on doing a live bootcamp, right, sometime in September. But if you don't want to wait for the live bootcamp, and if you actually want to access it right away, all right, come on, go straight to it. Then you can just come, guys, and actually download the entire series, right? Entire bootcamp 1 through 5 of my most recent bootcamp that I actually just did a few weeks ago, right? And again, it's a lot. And this is the thing about the bootcamp, guys. It is a lot of information, right? It is a lot of information that is actually being handed out on the bootcamp itself. Come on, man. Let's go with my bootcamp. Let's go with my website. ProTrader. All right. So again, there is a lot of information, guys. So if you do end up buying any of the videos, don't just watch it once and that's it, right? Make sure that you watch the videos, guys, numerous times, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, so that you do get every single nugget, not just 1 or 2 nuggets, but every single nugget. All right, and when you get every single nugget, it's gonna absolutely change the game for you, right? I don't know why the website's not coming up. Just give me 1 second, guys. Let me actually bring this up because I want you guys to see it. I need you guys to see it because it is absolutely a game changer. Let's see what we got here. Let me see. Give me 1 second, family. Oh, okay. I think I know what it is. I think I know what the issue is. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me go ahead and just fix this real quick. And then we can go from there. But how are you guys feeling, guys? How are you guys feeling in the chats? Go ahead and talk to me. Let me know in the chats how you guys are feeling. You guys feeling good? You guys feeling great? You guys feeling amazing? Better than amazing? You guys excited? How has your guys' trading week been? Right? Has it been a good trading week? Has it been a bad trading week? Right, let me know how's your guys' week been so far, guys. Let me know in the chats as well. All right, as this load, right? So we're gonna go ahead and let that load. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and let that load for now. All right, let me see. Where are we back at? Up and down, bit good, thank God. Nice, okay. Yeah, it's definitely been a I would say a little up and down week for me as well. All right, it's definitely been a little up and down week. And again, just the markets have just been extremely choppy. I think that's like the biggest thing, guys. Just this choppiness that we've been seeing. It's what really is killing it right now. All right, it's definitely especially if you're more of like a day trader / swing trader like I am. It's definitely a little bit harder. Just because of all the all the choppiness, right? All the choppiness has absolutely been crazy. Let's see, terrible. Oh man, Tammy, we gotta turn that around. Let's see. Blessed to be alive. Blessed and grateful king. Let's get it. Absolutely appreciate y'all. My trading week has been choppy. Yeah, mine has too. Just stacking on my Forex fund accounts for our Pip Island. Let's get it, Chris. That's what I love to hear. That's what I love to hear, right? But besides that, though, guys, right? Again, let's just take advantage of what we got. My favorite setups for tonight, is probably going to be GJ. Looking for a re-entry on GJ. If we can go ahead and get back down to this 161.4, 161.5, guys, I'm definitely a buyer. AUD USD, I'm a big seller of AUD USD around the 0.68 level. So if we can make our way back up to 0.68, again, a big fan of selling off that. And then the other one, guys, I'm going to be keeping my eyes on is going to be the euro. Obviously, I want to sell this thing from all the way up here around the 1.002. Again, if price does not make it up there, guys, right, and we start to actually see price react off of here, and we start to see bearish structure, then I'm just going to take it off of here instead, right? Like if we see something like this, right, where we're coming up to here and then we see a strong shift that breaks structure off of this level, I'm going to take that instead, right? I'm not just going to wait for price to come up there if it's not going to go out there, right? If we have evidence that momentum is shifting with a break of structure, then I'm still going to be jumping in as well, right? So that's another one, guys, taking advantage of for euro. And then NAS is just something that, again, we're going to keep our eyes on him. I'm going to try to trade as well tomorrow as well, guys. But besides that, absolutely interesting week to say the least. And I know that we're going to finish the week out with a bang for sure. All right, let's see. Good trading week. Feeling magnificent. More losses and testing my psychology, which is all good. Great. I just had my 30th. Let's go, BTC. Happy birthday, man. Big shout out to you. Everybody, go ahead and drop a happy belated in the chat for BTC. Mommy. Right? Big shout out to you. You hit the 30th. Right? That's a big number right there, man. That's a big milestone, right? I actually hit that too. Right? Which is kind of crazy, right? I feel old, but we just getting started. That's the best thing about it. So you will close those positions by end of day tomorrow or keep open, right? So again, it really depends. It really does depend on how the market actually plays out, right? Like if we see the market moving and I'm way deep in profits, and I'll probably just hold, to see if I can continue to capitalize on that, right? But I'm gonna be honest, I haven't held trades for too long now lately. Again, most of my trades now have been more so scalps and intraday setups, right? So I really don't hold trades as long as I used to no more, right? But it is possible, right? It depends on the situation though, if I'm holding or not. But besides that though, family, I do appreciate you guys. I love you guys so much for rocking with me. Thank you guys for just being here, right? Just showing me massive love and for doing your thing as well. This is a two-way street here, guys, right? Yeah, I'm the one teaching, but you guys playing your part and acting like students and being students and asking questions and comments and concerns, it definitely plays a major role in this whole thing that we have going on here, guys. And I appreciate you guys for sure for that. Right, so thank you guys. I will be back on hopefully tomorrow morning to trade NFP with y'all, and we'll go from there. All right, so family, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. If you guys do want access to the actual boot camp, the website is ProTraderBootcamp.com. All right, it will be finished. It will be up and running literally within the next 15-20 minutes. Right, but ProTraderBootcamp.com. Link is right in the description of this video. And you guys go ahead and get yourself access to other videos, in the actual bootcamp. Absolutely will change the game for you, guaranteed. And will take your trading guys to a whole nother level for sure. All right, so without further ado, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Thank you guys for rocking with me. And I will see you guys all later. Let's get it. Have a great rest of your guys' night.
NA